Jesus was Yeshua. That was his name, Yeshua. This was a real person that existed. Some people are like, oh, he was this imaginary person. No, no, no. There's a lot of evidence that he actually existed. He lived, he breathed, he had blood in his veins. He was a walking man, M-A-N. It wasn't some type of a flying guy with wings on his back. He was a man. He came through a womb. Here's what's interesting though. There was a little something different about this guy. The fact that he was a virgin birth, but when I looked deeper into see, well, maybe this was a mistake or maybe it was a mistranslation, I found through the Apocrypha text that his grandmother was also a virgin birth. Now this is really interesting. So we see this established bloodline here where through the grandmother comes his mother, and then through his mother comes him, both through in vitro fertilization. This is advanced technology. Someone purposefully did this.
People claim that if this child was an immaculate conception, child. People like Billy Carson, he says that even Miriam's mother, she was known for giving an immaculate conception. But according to the Lamas in Tibet, and I'm going to read some for y'all. This is why I say the Messiah, if it was ever a Messiah, right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to rule out that Yeshua was an immaculate conception. Just based off of this. Then we're going to get to, was he the son of Thoth the Atlantean? Or was he Thoth the Atlantean, reincarnated? But let me deal with this immaculate conception shit. We got to go to the root of this first. And this right here coming from Lob Sang Rapper's book, The Third Eye. Listen to this. This is the point I'm getting to right here. He might, for instance, realize that there can be a virgin birth unless the offspring be female. Under certain circumstances, women can produce children without the no doubt pleasurable aid of a man. But on every occasion, the child so born will be female. If she grows up and marries and has a child, then the child may be female or may be a weak, sickly male. Let me read that one more time because I think that went over some of y'all head. If she grows up and marries and has a child, then the child may be female or may be a weak, sickly male. So in other words, if somebody was to have an immaculate conception, it would be a female. It wouldn't be a male. But now if that child that was had messes around and has a child by a man, that child would be a weakly male, according to Dr. Rample. Now let's say this is the case, and this would make sense according to biblical study, how the Jewish community during the time made fun of Yeshua. They made fun of the way that he looked. And according to Dr. Wesley Muhammad, who went by the name of True Islam, in his book, The Book of God, he claims that the Pope issued that the Knight Templars find the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail was actually the body of Yeshua ben Pandora. Now, according to Dr. Wesley Muhammad, he claims that Yeshua ben Pandora's body was embalmed by the Egyptians to last for approximately 10,000 years. So he looks as if he's asleep inside of a tomb with a clear layer over it. Now, in his book, there's documentation of the Knights Templars criticizing the body that they saw. They didn't want to accept that he was an original man, or what we call today a black man. So they rejected him as being their savior, according to Dr. Wesley Muhammad's book, The Book of God. Also, when they described him as a short man, no more than about 5'5", and he had a hump back. He had a deformity to him. So this could be true in a sense that if he was born from an immaculate conceived female that had intercourse with a man, that he would look this way. That's the only way it would make sense. Because a real immaculate conception, according to Dr. Lob Sang Rapper, would only be a female. So, take it like y'all wanna. but it makes sense this way. And let's not overlook the humpback of Notre Dame. He was a kind fella, but he was mocked and picked on by the way he looked. And this is the same way that they present Yeshua being Pandora 2,000 years ago. So personally, I think they made that humpback of Notre Dame character in reference to Yeshua being Pandora. You never get a dominant person born without the aid of a man. This is coming from Dr. Tuesday Lab St. Ralph. And he was a Lama from Tibet. And if anybody that has done any research, they would know that the Lamas were and are the custodians of the Egyptian high priest. And the Egyptian high priest is in the order of Melchizedek. The order of Melchizedek goes back to the Atlantean priesthood. We already know that Yeshua went to Egypt, okay? Hell, if you read the Aquarian Gospel, Jesus Christ tell you that shit. He went to Egypt and he studied the mysteries of the Egyptian or the Kemetic priesthood. So he automatically had the knowledge of Thoth the Atlantean because Thoth was the one that set up the mystery schools. So anybody that went through the mystery systems of Kemet, they had the knowledge of Thoth the Atlantean. In other words, they would be literally linked to his mindset. So anybody would say, well, that was Thoth reincarnated. Because the thing is that they was all taught the exact same thing. I don't give a fuck if it was Ramesses. I don't give a fuck if it was Tutankhamun. All of them was taught the exact same thing because they all went to the priesthood of Melchizedek.
Is there any proof that Yeshua was not Thoth?
Yeah, simple it is. Thoth, according to the Emerald Tablets, he claims that was a meditation that he laid out in the Emerald Tablets to remember all your last incarnation. So, in other words, you could be reincarnated with all the knowledge that you had in your past life. If Yeshua was Thoth, why did he go to the mystery schools to learn the stuff that he was, like Reiki, and went to Tibet to learn Reiki and all this other stuff? If he was Thoth, and yet Thoth said that he was able to recapture all of his past life memory before he even would pass away to another dimension. He was able to take all of that with him to his current life. So it makes no sense. If Yeshua had been Thoth, he would have never even had to go to the mystery schools or the Egyptian priesthood to learn that shit. And he would never have to go to Tibet and go to other places to learn it because he would have already had it when he would have been born. He would have had downloaded like detailed files in him because Thoth talks about the shit in the Elam times. So it makes no sense. So for somebody to say that they was Thoth, they would not have to relearn it. It would already be with them. They will automatically know it because it would be instilled in them. Because he said it right in the Emerald Tablets. He gives and I'm gonna tell you the meditation he said to you. He said on the point of, I ain't quoting it exactly, but he said on the point of when you're about to pass away, basically die, when the fingers of death is about to touch your body. Focus on the center of your brain and hold your consciousness there. This will allow you to retain all of your information. So once you pass over and you're reincarnated, you can have all of that knowledge with you. That way nothing is lost. So once you're reincarnated, you'll be able to remember everything from your past life. That's in the Emerald Tablets. I ain't quoted word for word, but damn it, I got close. Okay, because it basically say something like that. And if anybody want to challenge me, I go get shit and show it to you. So they couldn't have been Thoth, because Thoth was able to retain all of his knowledge from all his past lives. So if anybody claimed that they was Thoth the Atlantean, they would have been able to retain their past life information.